Girona 2, Real Madrid 1. Remember all that goodwill that Real Madrid earned after that win away against Atleti at the weekend, just all gone after a terrible result that leaves them now 9 points off Barcelona at the top of the table. Let's welcome in Gab. Gab, to start with you, this was a weird game. First half, Real Madrid were fine. Second half, once Girona scored, Real Madrid just had nothing.
Yeah, this is really bizarre, and because, as you said, Real Madrid weren't just fine. I thought they were really good in the first half, could have scored more than they did. The reaction simply wasn't there in the second half. Now, obviously, he made some changes. We saw Sergio again, Marcelo, but that in itself doesn't explain why they should suddenly deflate. And lest we forget, Girona, I think it was 6 consecutive defeats coming into this, 4 points from their previous 30. Girona, not a good team, not in a good moment. And for them to march into the Bernabeu like this and come away with 3 points, really bossing Real Madrid around in the second half, that has to be a real concern for Santi.
He's got to look at himself, doesn't he, Santi, in a sense that he made quite a few changes from a winning formula, talking about resting players, although Real Madrid haven't got any matches till next weekend, and it came back to really bite him.
Almost a sense that this is a team, and Gab touched on it, that were, before they win today, 1 point above the drop zone. At home at the Bernabeu, it was almost like taking your eye off the ball and saying, well, we've had a little bit of a run of games, we've done well, we've played a lot, there's been some cup competition as well. We'll just knock these off, and then we'll think about next week, and then we'll think about the Champions League. So you've got, like, say, Vinicius Junior, who's on the bench, who's been in great form. Bale was on the bench, but hasn't always played. Marcelo comes back into the team, and he has been horrid this year, which is a real shame because he's a very good player, or has been. And, you're almost just letting Barcelona off the hook. And that's the disappointing thing from a Real perspective, is that, and fair play to Girona, like, they're battling for their lives. And we have seen more results like this year in La Liga, for whatever reason. But a really bad day for a team who you just thought they were starting to click. But I think it just shows that Santi's still got problems there, and it's going to be a lot of hard graft between now and the end of the year to get the results he needs.
I put this down to Santi Solari. I think the sense of complacency that he showed in the team that he picked. Look, I understand you've got big games to come, but given how poor Real Madrid have been so far this season and the kind of gap that they slowly started to make up with Barcelona, and now all of a sudden you're playing well, just keep playing. Don't try to change that momentum. Don't overthink this situation. Everybody wants it. When you're playing well, everybody wants to be out there. And you were seeing that from Real Madrid. Now all of a sudden you change things up, a sense of complacency creeps in, and that's what you saw. And as good as Real Madrid were, I thought Girona played pretty well themselves. Could have had a couple of goals themselves, and in the end, I can make the argument he's only 3 points. I put that down to the manager. When you're playing well, don't take your foot off the gas.
I know it's Monday morning quarterback stuff and all that, but I don't know why so many try and do it now, and some get away with it. But I always think, and I always wanted the teams I played in when we were on a run, you put your best team out there, and if you have got a fixed schedule coming up, you try and get the job done, and you can make 3 substitutions, of course you can, and you can rest those he changed about 4 players, I think, but you can rest 3 players, take some key guys off after 60 minutes or 50 minutes and give them a break.
If you've been playing well all season long, I can understand that, but when you've been as poor as Real Madrid were to start the season, now you're playing well, don't change it now.
Sergio Ramos, then, has been sent off in La Liga more than any other player in the history of the league. 20 times in La Liga, 25 in his Real Madrid career. Boys, he's won everything. World Cup, European Championship, Champions League, the whole shebang. How much of a blot on his copybook is this when you look back at the career of Sergio Ramos? Do you give him a pass because he's won everything, because it's part of him, or do you look at him as a professional and think, come on, 25 times?
Do you know what? A bit of both. He'll not be bothered. That's what I'm saying. His mentality is, look, that's who I am. I mean, this was kind of unfortunate because it was a handball and then a high boot. It's not. This doesn't rank in his stupidest sendings off, not by a long shot. Right?
It should be a top 10.
Because he's had some crackers over the period. However, and I know Stevie in particular, and being a former defender himself, gets frustrated with the positions he gets him in now and again. And maybe it is a case he's played it some great clubs with a great country, and you've got teammates that can bail you out. But you can't deny what the guy has achieved and how he's achieved it as a footballer. And I suppose as well, being at one point a right back and turning himself into a centre back. But he is what he is. He's a centre half who's got a ton of red cards, but he's also got a ton of medals, and he's achieved a ton. So I don't think you would look at it in such a bad light.
For the defending aficionados, yes, it's a blot on his copybook, as you put it, Dan. But the truth of the matter is, Sergio Ramos, for whatever reason, is a good fit at Real Madrid, and his trophy cabinet is there as evidence of that. So you take these incidents with the positives that he brings. We make that same argument about any number of players, that you've got to take the rough with the smooth. First name that comes to mind, Diego Costa. You take some of the things that he brings for his goals. Sergio Ramos, similar. We don't talk about many defenders in that vein, but Sergio Ramos certainly is one.